Welcome back to another Out of the Park 25 Blue Jays sim. I've decided to expand the league here after the 2028 season. You're looking at the layout. I'll explain it to you in a second. I am hopping back in after not recording an episode for like 6 weeks or something, so I might be a little rusty here, but I might pronounce names right because this is the first episode that I've done since this series came out on YouTube, and you guys were like, dude, it's Barger, not Barger. Dude, it's Jimmy, not Yimmy. Dude. Anyways, I still say Toronto like Toronto, though. All right, so what did I do? So I decided I wanted to expand the league, and I wanted to go down to 4 divisions of 8. I decided that I wanted to make the divisions as close as possible to the divisions in like 1989. Those are like the first divisions, like the 80s divisions are the first divisions that I remember from baseball. I didn't remember them exactly. There were a couple I was like, wait, why are the Reds in the West and the Braves are in the West, but the Cardinals are in the East, right? Like there were some things that just didn't make sense. But anyways, so I then also decided that I wanted the expansion teams to be in the NL, both of them, just to make it a little harder for me. So I couldn't pick on expansion teams, make it a little more challenging. I also redid the playoff format. We'll get to that in a minute. So the AL East is what the AL East was in like 1989, except for the Rays are also in it. They weren't in baseball yet. The AL West, well, we brought the Astros over because I thought that made sense just to keep them here because I needed more teams to fill out the American League if I was going to have both expansion teams go to the NL. And then what is the other thing that's different here? I'm sure you guys have already started it. So the White Sox, the Twins, the Angels. Oh, that's the only thing. That's the only thing that's different, I think. Yep. Okay. Then the NL East, pretty similar here. I moved the Braves over because that was just silliness. I did leave the Reds in the West because it just was easier that way. So the Braves are over, and the Iguanas are here, the San Juan Iguanas. Why the Iguanas? Because I Googled what animals most common in San Juan, and the first result on the first page was iguanas. I have no idea if that's true. I didn't verify it. The NL West, who did they gain? They gained the Rockies, obviously, we're already in the West, and then the Calgary Chickadees. Why the Chickadees? Because that's the official bird of Calgary, according to the first result on your search engine of choice. Ask Jeeves, of course. So that's what we're going with in terms of divisions. Some old school divisions here for you baseball fans from the 80s. You know, Brewers back in the AL East. Tigers back in the AL East. The Guardians in the AL East. So I don't know. This AL East like reminds me of my childhood. So I kind of like it. And then what are we doing with the postseason? Well, let me show you. Made the postseason smaller. Where is it? It's like league settings, leagues and teams. No, league settings rules? I think it's here. No, all right. Options. I just did this like 30 seconds ago. All right, so custom playoffs. So division winners are in, wild cards are in. 2 wild cards. So it's 4 in each division, or in each league, sorry. And first round is a best of 3. The division winner gets 3 games at home, no off days. And then best of 7. I guess we could rename this like wild card series, even though like the division winners are in it. And then we could call this like I mean, it's not really a division series, but let's call it the division series. The DS, and then the League Championship Series, if I can spell it right. There we go. LCS, and then the World Series, even though it's only North America. All right, confirm. All right, cool. So the expansion draft will happen, you can see, just after free agency, the day after free agency, which is cool because then that way they're not going to draft guys that are like expiring free agents. So let's get into the Jays. Now, I had to go and refresh myself, man, because I've been playing like an OSIM offline, and I was like, I don't remember anything about where this team is. So maybe my view has changed. I don't know. Maybe I'll be saying stuff totally different than what I was saying in the last episode. Alejandro Kirk, man, yeah, he's our catcher. He's only got 1 year left. We might look to extend him. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's really solid defensively. He's getting to that age, though, where it's starting to get dangerous to extend. I don't know. That's a to be determined. Gomez can come back as our backup catcher. Vlad is back. He's climbing like every team leaderboard. He's going to like pass for like WAR this year, home runs, doubles. He's going to be leading a bunch of all-time Blue Jay categories after this year. We've got him for 1 more year and then a player option. Second base, man, I don't really know. Like Barger, I don't think is the answer because of his defense. Second base is kind of where we have a hole, I think. Not totally sure what to do about it. Mayo, sure, he can come back as our third baseman. He's solid enough. He's about to enter arbitration for only $3.5 million. That's cool. Arias hopefully can bounce back with the bat here. Had a really good season for us, and then a really great season for us, and then he was still good defensively, but a 54 WRC plus is just not really tolerable. Martinez will be in left field. I think we'll try Sal Frelick with his 70 range in center field since Varsho's a free agent who we can't afford to keep around. We did extend the qualifying offer, which I doubt he'll take. Now, will Malloy get this? I don't know. I mean, he's never really been great. Like, he's totally serviceable, but I don't know that I want him getting, like, 450 to 550 plate appearances. I think, like, 300 to 400 is better. He's still fairly cheap, I think. $3.3 million. He's a righty bat. He can play around the diamond a bit on the corners of the diamond. And then Soto at DH. Then who's in left field? Well, we can train up Barger. It's going to take me some time, guys. Barger can play some left field. Matthews can definitely play left field. Drew Burris, our first-round pick from 2026, will definitely be in the mix. I don't know who from this crew is going to be the everyday. Oh, and I'm saying left field. I mean right field. Where's Martinez better? He's probably fine in either, I guess. I also would have the option of moving Mayo out to right field and then signing a third baseman. But I think what the plan will be is let those guys battle it out for right field. Like have Burris, Matthews, and Barger all on the team. Like 2 of them on the bench. 1 is the right fielder, but kind of like, they'll all get playing time. And Barger's a lefty, so he could platoon with Matthews or Burris. I could always move Sal Frelick back to second base if I needed to, but I think I'd prefer to keep him in center. Burris can be our backup center fielder. I think he could play some center field. Hopefully his bat will take off this year. I think I've got him in the development lab too. But really, I think we need a second baseman. And, I'm not entirely sure how we're going to do it. We could always bring back Varsho and then move Frelick to second base, but we just don't have a ton of money for 2029. Still a lot. We just run a high payroll with between Vlad and Soto. Dylan Cease, of course, making $17.5 million as an injured pitcher who can't ever stay healthy. All of these guys are expensive. I have thought about moving Aaron Ashby. He's coming off a monster year, probably a career year, even though he's been good for us since we've had him. He's been good this whole sim pretty much as a starter, but it's going into the last year of his deal. He's 30. Are we going to keep him? I don't know. But I just don't know that I like what it does. Elder's a free agent. I just don't know that I like what it does to our rotation. I think Higgins Smith can probably be our 4, and I think Mason Black would be fine as our 5. He was a Rule 5 pick many years ago, got roughed up in our bullpen in 2026, and has just done nothing but pitch well in AAA since then. I think it's just time for him to come up and be our starter. So we would really need like a number 3 starter if we traded Ashby. We don't have another guy to stick in. Bullpen is getting decimated by free agency. Brzezicki will be back. Flaherty will be back. Neither of these guys are great. They're kind of like the bottom end of our middle relief. I can see them set to use less often. I could see both being off the team at some point. Dylan Cease, I guess, will come back in the long relief role. We could always start him again. I don't know. I mean, he's wrecked, so I don't want to count on him, but I suppose I could always move Ashby out, move Smith up, and have Cease be like my 4. It's an option. Peterson's a free agent. Beeks is a free agent, but we extended like a 1 year, $1 million deal. Same thing with Romano. I think his was like a 2 year deal, maybe. 2 years, 2.78. So both very cheap and can be factors in our bullpen, but not aces. Rogers a free agent that will let go. Elder's a free agent. Moran is on the IL. Rojas, Leisure could make the team. Detmers is a free agent. Detmers and Boz both want a lot of money based off of the years they had. They're both free agents. They both want like 4 years, $10 million per. That's a bit rich for me. Holmes wants too much money to bring him back. And Tiedemann is out with the torn rotator cuff, which is a real bummer. We could definitely trade Ashby for some pieces if Tiedemann was healthy. Let me see. Okay, so I shopped Ashby around a bit for prospects. I was like, what prospects could I get? Kind of like try to churn the 40-man a little bit, get a little bit cheaper. It would open up a good bit of money next year. How much is he making next year? $13 million. So this is one deal that the Cubs offered. Bryce Rainier is a first-round pick, 14th overall from 2024, who has not really he's gotten 88 plate appearances. He wasn't great in the minors either. He never, I don't know, he just jumped around a lot. It's hard to tell what he did. Yeah, but he hasn't really torn at the minors, but a good glove, low work ethic, don't love that. But certainly a guy who would be in competition to be our backup middle infielder, and who knows if his glove works, or if his bat jumps up, he could become more than that. And then Alexis Hernandez just kind of seems like a pretty good guy to have in AAA as a backup infielder in case you run into injuries. And then Amari Pargo, 13th round pick from 2027, had a really good year in A-ball, but he's 23. I don't know that he's going to do anything, but not a terrible package, but I don't think one I'm going to take. And then this deal from Miami, I think, was a bit stronger. These are the two best packages. Noble Mayer just looks like a really solid pitching prospect. I mean, he's only pitched 12 2/3 innings in the bigs, but he was in AAA for a lot of last year. His ERA was bad. He was just dogged by the home run ball. Is he like a fly ball guy? No. So this would be a dude who I think would immediately become like our top pitching prospect. He has 2 option years left. I think I'd probably keep in AAA to start, maybe, or maybe he could be the long guy in our bullpen. But I think an immediate contributor pretty much like next year. Camden Cozile, 55 range, kind of the bottom of what I would take for second base, but I think he could play second, third, left, right. Maybe fake it at short every so often if he needed him to. He has not gotten a lot of time in the majors and really has not been great at the bat in the higher minors. But and then Gavin Killen is not a power bat, but a decent looking bat. He's hit well in AA and AAA. He's had a very limited amount of time in the majors, 120 plate appearances. So I think that's a decent package. None are like blowing my socks off though. I'm going to shop him around for a second baseman too to see what we can do, but I might just come back with my rotation of this. This might just be our rotation. I don't love what that does for our money. I'd like to have a bit more money to play with to address second base and address the back end of the bullpen, because I think we got Beeks, Romano, Cease, Flaherty, Black, Brzezicki, Black maybe in our rotation. I think, but I don't have any good back-end arms. I think I need some back-end arms. I don't even remember how my bullpen was last year. Oh, it was really good, which is surprising. So, yeah, that's what we're dealing with. I think, second base and a couple relievers is what we need to address. How will we address it? I'm not quite sure. We're not going to make a big splash. We could always make a trade with Aaron Ashby, but or it might be a more minor move to bring in a guy who can compete at second base with some of the bench guys like Barger, Matthews. But I don't love either of those guys' glove there, so I don't know. We'll see. So I'll get into the offseason here, get into free agency, the expansion draft, all that fun stuff, and we'll talk about that shortly. Okay, now in February, a little bit before spring training begins, not a lot of really no big moves in this offseason. I'll be honest, I looked at moving Ashby in the final year of his deal. I looked at moving Kobe Mayo because teams are interested in him, and he's just like, he's been good but hasn't broken out. I think he's maybe kind of past that point where he's going to break out. I mean, he could still have a career year, but like, he's not going to be a perennial like 50 home run guy like he has been in some sims that I've seen with him. Or, if he is, he's going to be a late bloomer. But there was just no trade that like made a ton of sense, I guess. Like there were some decent trades out there, but some of them just like, I'm not convinced they made my team better. And I think this team is pretty decent. One thing that is absolutely devastating that we learned, like, I think this month, I can tell you when it was, is Orelvis Martinez, who was supposed to be back for the start of the year, is now going to miss like the whole season because he had a setback from his fractured elbow. We found that out on January 29th. Yeah. So that sucks because he has been, I mean, he wasn't great last year with the injury, but he was decent. But he's been like a middle of the order guy for us. Maybe not like a 4-hitter, maybe not a 2-hitter, but like a really good 5-hitter. And our offense, I think, was a little lacking. And I looked at making big moves to address that this offseason. I thought, Martinez is coming back, and I have some guys who I think might be ready to step up, so I'm going to hold off on that. So getting that news in February after, end of January when free agency is basically done, well, I don't know, it sucks, I think is the way to frame it. So our lineup, like I fit Soto, Guerrero, Mayo, I think Frelick, I think that's a really good top 4. And then after that, it's all like, okay, how are these dudes going to do? And I'll get to this Arcia acquisition in a minute. But Drew Burris, has ripped up the minor leagues. He's young and unproven, but he's a really good-looking prospect, and he could pop off this year. He could also be unreliable. Alejandro Kirk, I think he's a solid, like, hitter for us. Like, I'm fine with him in the 6-hole. He had that one year where he really popped off. He had he's kind of had, like, different years, but a league average hitter at least. I'll take that. I think we need that kind of stability in the back end of the order. Addison Barger is another guy that, like, he's hit well, but I'm going to move him to the outfield because he's just not an infielder. He's going to take Martinez's spot in the outfield. And, maybe he'll prove he can do it in a full-time role. Maybe he'll break out. Maybe he won't. Maybe he'll suck. So just, like, another question mark. Orlando Arcia, I signed because I needed somebody. I have some young guys who can compete for time at second base, but I needed a veteran too that I thought could bring some stability and some fielding. 24, he was decent. 25, he was terrible. 26, he was terrible or bad. 27, he was fine, and then he was pretty good last year. So he's 34. It was only $2 million. Hopefully he won't be terrible. Like, I'll take a 90 WRC plus and solid defense. And then Gabriel Arias, we just don't know what we're going to get from him. He was decent. He was pretty good. He was awful with the bat. With the glove, he's going to be great. And that's why he's on the team. But, these 5 through 9 guys, if 2 of them pop off, we're good. If 5 of them pop off, we're going to win 110 games. If none of them do, we're going to really struggle. But we've got other guys like Cody Schreier, our second-round pick from 2024. He's hit well in the minors. He had an injury last year, I think. What was it? Yeah, post-concussion syndrome. And then he had migraines. That sucks. So, hopefully he can come in and do well. He'll be a bench back to start. Bryce Matthews is another guy who's hit really well in the minors. Scout seems to like him. Sorry, I'm on OSA. He hasn't done it at the Major League level, but he'll get some chances. And then we've got Jazz Chisholm. I signed as a guy who could bat left-handed, play some infield, some outfield. And, he, in this sim, he's not been great. He had 2 decent years, an okay year, and then was really bad last year in Boston. Signed him for 1 year, $2 million. So, Schreier, Chisholm, Matthews is the bench, and Gomez the backup catcher. But not entirely, again, like I think this offense might be good, could be good. I think it could also really be lacking. But I decided on not doing a major shakeup with a major trade involving like Mayo or Aaron Ashby, just because like there just weren't trades that made sense. Like I don't think the trades made us better. I think we could have gotten a decent second baseman that was better than Arcia, but then like our pitching would have been in trouble. You know, I think this top three pitching is really possibly like awesome for us. And then if Hagen Smith steps up, like our pitching could be awesome. Mason Black pitched well last year. The last 2 years in AAA, he's 29, but we're going to give him a shot. Signed a bunch of relievers. Signed Almonte, who was decent last year. You can see he didn't pitch a ton of innings, but was pretty good between Texas and San Francisco. 1 year, 3.2. That's a good deal. Carson Coleman, 1 year, $900,000. He hasn't pitched in the majors yet. He probably won't pitch in the back end of the bullpen like I have him lined up with the scout. Scout really seems to like him, and he's been decent in AAA, but he's looking like a good player. Taylor Rogers, 1 year, $2.3 million. He's been really like not great the last 2 years, especially FIP-wise. ERA was all right last year, but needed a lefty, and we're going to, at $2.3 million, we're going to take a chance on him. Romano, Beeks, Brzezicki, Flaherty. Cease hopefully can stay healthy and just give us some innings. You know, I'm not totally banking on it, but Quentin Lowe is a guy I signed for $1.26 million, overall 50, potential 40. I don't really understand what that means when that happens. Maybe one of you guys do. But yeah, so he's never been great. I mean, he was great in 2027. I take that back. Then AAA he struggled, and then last year he struggled in both. But he's got 3 option years left. I figured he was an arm worth taking a chance on in free agency. Basically just signed a bunch of cheap guys. Kendry Rojas probably should get a spot on this roster. You know, I honestly don't know why I haven't given him a shot yet. He's pitched well in AAA 3 years in a row. He's 26 now, so it's like time to give him a chance. I think he will probably. I think Flaherty, does he have an option? No, I think Brzezicki. Like I think he'd probably, if all things are healthy and even coming into the season, I think I would give him the spot over Brzezicki, because Brzezicki's had his chances, and he was good in 27, but then he was pretty bad last year. He was good in AAA, but yeah, I think I'd probably just give Rojas a look. Noble Mayer is a guy I traded for. I made a trade with Miami. I was looking at a bigger trade with Miami for Aaron Ashby that included Noble Mayer that I showed you guys, and I just ended up deciding I didn't really like the trade. I didn't like giving up Aaron Ashby even with just 1 year left. I mean, Ashby just won the Cy Young last year, 4.3 WAR, 5.9 R WAR. I mean, he put up a 2.89 ERA, a 3.51 FIP. It just didn't make sense to give him up to me. But I was like, I like this pitching prospect though. I'm gonna figure out what it takes to get him. So I did. I traded an international prospect that they really liked that I was fine giving him up, because I don't know that he really has a defensive home, even if his bat does develop. His ceiling, I mean, he's got the high intelligence, loyalty, leader. So, you know, I think that this player could be decent, but he's so far away. They were interested in him, and then I threw in Kobe Howard or whatever. No big deal. I made a couple other small like trades. Let me go back and just. November, none here. December, so I traded Justin Henry Malloy because I thought I kind of had an extra outfielder. Was not, because I was planning on I wanted to sign a lefty bat like Chisholm, and it left me with either Bryce Matthews or Justin Henry Malloy on my bench. I decided to go with Matthews because he can play more defensively. He's younger, he's cheaper. So I traded Malloy. I'd like to have him back now to fill in for Martinez, but oh well. I traded him and a nobody prospect here, and I got 2 pitchers that I like a lot. Tarson Turnquist, I think it might have been on one of my teams, one of my other sims, but he was drafted in the 11th round of 2025 for the Mets, but then has just pitched really well everywhere. Pitched really well across high A and A last year. I mean, that's like over 5 WAR. And over like 6.6 R WAR between the 2 levels. He's 24. He's going to be in AAA. I think he could be a guy who pitches for us within the next year or so. So I like getting him. He was the main guy that I liked. Malloy just did not carry a lot of value as like a league average right-handed outfielder. Just didn't carry it. So I was also happy to get this guy, Ricardo Yan, who has never pitched in the majors, but has pitched well everywhere. He pitched in Double and Triple A last year and put up 2.7 WAR across like 140 or so innings, or 130 or so innings. So that was the other trade. That was the Noble Meyer trade. Did I make any others? I'm not sure that I did. Oh, oops. I was like Moran. Okay, I forgot. I went back. Wait, where are we now? All right, I'm in the wrong year now. Hold on. Let me get a hold of myself here. There's the Chisholm signing. There's all the reliever and Arcia signings. So no other trades. We lost a couple guys. Nobody too consequential in the expansion draft, but I can show you the expansion teams. Let's go out to the San Juan Iguanas first and meet their team. I mean, you can see this is going to be pretty rough here. Enrique Bradfield Jr. Yeah, I Bryce Elder. Did they sign him? Oh, they picked him. Oh, wait, we lost Bryce Elder? I didn't realize I'd signed Bryce Elder. I signed Bryce Elder to an extension and then lost him? I don't think so. What? Okay, so apparently I had signed Elder to an extension. I don't remember doing that. Maybe that was arbitration. I bet he's arbitration eligible. In my mind, he was a free agent. I left him unprotected because he was a free agent. I don't really care. Like I'm actually happy to have that $4.5 million off the books. He wasn't that good last year. I'm good with it. How do we get him? Free agency, 3 point. Got it. Okay. There was one good pitching prospect that got taken, but maybe it was the other team, or maybe I'm just not remembering. But Alex DeJesus as your cleanup hitter, that might spell problems. So yeah, where's their farm system? 32nd. They did get this guy from Detroit. He's put up big numbers in high A. That's a decent pitching prospect. So that's interesting. Girth is their top prospect here, but he's their second here. Girth. You guys are going to be like, no, it's Girth. No, it's Girth, guys. It's definitely Girth. Where'd I put the other team again? Oh, Calgary, right? Yeah, the Calgary Chickadees. Is this the guy? Yeah, this was the guy they got from Baltimore. This was the first pick in the expansion draft. Round 1, pick 2. Oh, no. Sorry, he was the Orioles' 32nd pick in 2024. 32nd overall, and then signed for a huge overslot bonus as a high school pitcher. But then had been like coming along. But he was the first player taken. He's pitched 2 1/3 in the majors, but he was really good in AAA as a 23-year-old. I mean, looks like he could. I don't know. I would have him up yet. I'm sure he probably will be for them, but looks like a. Oh, can you look at? I've never tried to look at other teams' development lab. Okay, no. Yeah, I think he could be really good. You can see this team's a disaster too. Like they're both going to be terrible. Kyle Stowers. How many guys did the O's lose to these guys? Jordan Leisure was one of the guys that we lost. He just was awful last year, and he was never great. Did he start with us? No, I claimed him off of waivers. I saw him in a major league game. I think he pitches for the White Sox in real. Oh yeah. Okay, the White Sox. So yeah, he just never put it together for us at the major league level. After he was just kind of fine. I was fine losing him. There was another guy I lost. I lost Jose Ramos too. Yeah, this guy. Lost Jose Ramos. A dude that I thought was going to be a bit better than he ended up being. He just never took off for us. We're fine with losing him. I think those are the only. I think that pitcher that I forgot, the Braves pitcher that I forgot that real life Braves pitcher. Who is it? Bryce Elder. That's right. Yeah, I think Elder and then those two dudes from Calgary are the ones that I lost. But what are they looking at ticket wise? Season tickets projected. How do they know they're down 9.3% based off of what? What are they talking about? So their budget's not bad. 17th in San Juan. What about Calgary? 16th. Whoa. I'm surprised these guys haven't gone out and made a splash in free agency with all that money. Player development. Tons of money in player development. Wow. San Juan. Tons of money in player development. You guys got to take your draft budgets down, though. I don't know what's up with that. I think they're going to draft at the end of the first round. Yeah. We'll draft 32nd. So, yeah, anyways, we've got the realigned leagues. We've got a team that I am a little concerned about. You know, I mean, maybe there'll be, like, can a Rosarena still play the outfield? No. Yeah, I was thinking maybe there would be, like, a player that would fall through. I have looked at Siri. I thought, you know, I think all things being equal, if I'd known Martinez was going to be out, maybe I'd draft him. I'm still considering signing him. I made an offer, like, way low to him, just so I know if he gets desperate. It looks like he is starting to get desperate because he wanted like $8 million. I was like, how about $5 million? And he was like, no, how about 7.8? But now he's asking for $5 million. So I think maybe I'm gonna wait him out because if I go put him in center, let me look at this. Let me go back and show you Siri for a second. So he's obviously premier center fielder, but he's also been like decent with the bat. Like he's been like league average the last 3 years. He's been a 3+ WAR player. Now he's been fragile apparently, but he's played a lot of games. He's 33. It could fall off at any point. But, man, if he comes in under, like, $5 million or he stays out there even longer and just, like, eventually it's a minor league deal, I'll bring him in as my center fielder. I would then push, like, Frelick to left or right and then probably push Burris to the bench, right? Yeah, let Burris probably platoon with Barger here in right field because he's a lefty. He's a righty, and just see how they do. If they both pop off, I'll find playing time. And then have Frelick in left or right, you know, Burris and Barger platooning the other, and then Siri in center field. Like, I don't mind that. It makes our defense even better. It gives us what I like is like a major league player with a track record. I don't feel like we have enough of those. Now, what it would do is then like push, I guess, Bryce Matthews to the minors maybe. He's 2 option years left. Like, I mean, it's not like he's like etched his name in Toronto. Like, I was looking forward to giving him some playing time, but it's not like he has to have playing time. Schreier, I want up. He's 25 now. He's actually almost it's gonna be 26 before opening day. Like, it's time to give him some playing time up in the majors. Like, he just shouldn't be blocked anymore. I've promoted him really slowly. And I did have injuries that, you know, that's probably a big reason why he didn't come up last year. What was his right. Weird. I looked at him as post-concussion, but he missed, he hasn't missed other seasons, but yeah, I don't know. I'll consider that Siri and then Frelick and then a Burris Barger platoon. I don't know that makes the lineup any better, but it gives us boss-ass center field defense because I'm a little worried about Frelick. I mean, I know he's got the 70 range, but he hasn't really played a lot of center field, and when he has, he's got minus 5.1 in 83 games. So, you know, I'm not totally sure why that's the case, but it is the case. Here's a minus 1.7 in 13 games. So, where else did he play at? Here's a minus 0.3. Yeah, he hasn't played it a ton. But I'm not totally set on him. I think it just also makes the team deeper. I'm a little worried about our depth, like if we have more big injuries. So as I'm talking through this, like I'm talking myself into Siri, but here, let's see if we just go 4 today. If he's like, hey, by the way, would you like to negotiate again? So, you know, I think I am kind of like, oh, this is like an international guy is going after. That's fine. Yeah, I think I have kind of talked myself into Siri. Let's go up to like, and I'm the only team listed as interested in him. That doesn't mean that he won't sign with somebody else. Like I've had that happen where it's like, oh, nobody's interested. Like I could wait him out. All right, let's see. All right, these guys are promoted. These guys signed elsewhere. That's fine. I think was this the guy that I kind of wanted? No, I was just I'm like low on money. Oh, this guy no, it's a different player. I was thinking of somebody, a different sim. I had an international prospect with a similar name. It was a little different, but he's an outfielder. So I guess Siri still hasn't signed anywhere, has he? No. Freddie Freeman, 1 year, $5.2 million. hasn't been great in the last 2 years. He hasn't been bad, but he definitely hasn't been good. Musgrove. Man, Musgrove coming off 5.8, 2.5, 3 WAR. Dude, there's some values out there if you comb through free agency. I know he's 36 and his ratings suck, but dang, dude. Reed Detmers left us to get that 2-year, $12 million deal. Logan Gilbert. He was like good. And then 26, he lost to injury. 27, he wasn't that great. And then last year he's good, but he's 31. Yeah, I probably would have signed him for that deal. I should have poked around more on free agent. I wasn't really in the market for free agents, so I didn't look a ton. I looked at the top end because there were some really big arms out there. All right, Siri, like, what are we doing here? No, like, I want you to require like no money. Because look, like I've only got 6.9 left. I took him down to 5.3. Yeah, I don't know why the international amateur free agent cap says 0. Like, I just downloaded a new patch. I don't know if something's weird with it. You can't spend over it, I don't think, but still, I'm not sure what's going on there. I could always trade Moran if I wanted more money. Yeah, I'm going to wait on Siri. I'm going to wait him out. I'm not going to blink. I don't have to have him. I don't. I think that he needs me more than I need him. So we'll see if he comes back to us. Let's just go up to like, we'll play a few. I won't set up my spring training roster. I'll play the first few games without it set up like a rebel. Just, I'm kind of like, come on, Siri, just come back to us here. I like that quote. The one area that people don't know a lot about is hitting, so we're the first to go. Yeah, maybe that's why. Maybe. But maybe also not why. Nah, nothing from Siri yet. Let's see if we got anything big. Wow, Moreno, 50 to 60 in current. That was a development lab. Schreier, this was in the contact was in the lab. His eye went up too. Let's see. Figura, this was a development lab. That's a big boost. We still have some guys in the development lab working on their defense. So hopefully we'll get some big hits. Put Juan Soto out there. See if he can improve his left field defense. Get out there and earn that $45 million. Anyways, that's going to do it for this episode. See you next time for the start of the season, and we'll get into the the draft and all that stuff, and you'll see if Jose Siri is a member of the Blue Jays or not. But thank you guys for watching, and see you for opening day 2029.